Why, hello there. Today we're going to talk about types of lines. Lines are so important in geometry. One thing before we start is that you need to know that arrows are included on all lines. So if you thought this was a line, you need to think again. That is not a line. I'm going to cross that out. Today, we're going to make sure we include arrows. And why is that, you ask? We need arrows to show that lines go on and on and on forever in either direction that the arrow is pointing. That's what shows that it keeps on going. You see lines every day in your life. Lines are really important in architecture. You can see here in this picture that there's all types of lines that make up this bridge. Here in this second picture, there are lots of lines on a map. This map represents roads that are actually in Washington, D.C., and the last one is a road. And you could see lines that are painted on roads. Hopefully you've seen those before. So the first type of line that we're going to be talking about today are parallel lines. And one little trick is if you forget what a parallel line looks like, you've got an example right in the word. These L's next to each other are parallel lines. So I'm going to take those L's, I'm going to turn them into lines, making sure I have arrows. What makes these parallel is that these lines are straight. They will also never touch or cross. They're going to always run next to each other, but they're never going to cross or touch. They also are going in the same direction, vertical. I can also draw them horizontally. That's okay. They're still fitting that they are straight and they're never going to touch. If you look back at our picture, this here on the road, these lines right here, those are parallel lines. I also see it in our bridge over here, those cables that are running up and down. And I see them in the map. They're all those streets running next to each other. They're never going to touch, they just run up and down next to each other. The next type of lines we're going to discuss are called perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines, they do cross. They will cross or touch. Here's an example of perpendicular lines. Now, I know that these are perpendicular because they're making kind of like this T on the inside here, or a addition symbol. They're also making very specific types of angles. Anytime you see a perfect L, that's a right angle. Right angle. Here in the corner, where this vertex is, I can see that there is a perfect L right here, boop, boop, and it's making a right angle. There are more right angles. Here's one, here's another, here's the third, and here's the fourth. So perpendicular lines will cross and make 4 right angles. Okay. Intersecting lines will also cross or touch. My special way of making the most perfect intersecting lines is to start off with a straight horizontal line and then cross it with a diagonal line. This makes the most perfect intersecting lines because what's special about it is that it makes two acute angles, two really small angles, and two large, obtuse angles. That's what's special about intersecting lines. Two acute angles and two obtuse angles. Nowhere to be found are right angles in intersecting lines. The only similarity is that they are also going to cross. Let's review. Here I have three different drawings of different types of lines. I want you to look closely at each one. Decide, which type of lines am I showing? Are they perpendicular? Are they parallel? Or are they intersecting? Take a moment and decide which one will each be. All right. The first one I see crossing, so it cannot be parallel. And I also see perfect L's being made. 4 to be exact. So this must be perpendicular. I'm going to write perp for short. Number 2, it's also crossing, but it's making two large openings and two small openings. It must mean that they are intersecting lines. I'm going to write inter for short. And the last type of line we reviewed were called parallel. These are parallel because they are never going to cross and they are next to each other. So these are parallel. Okay. Thank you for watching today, all about lines. I hope that you are feeling good about all different types of lines. If you have any questions, you can comment below. Thank you. Bye. Bye.